Hi, I'm Mark.
And I'm Nicole.
And we are Overland Explorer. And tonight we're going to have a little conversation about kind of who we are and where we've come from a little bit. Talk about some of the things we want to do and some of the things we've done. And one of the things that I've learned is that I absolutely couldn't imagine doing this without my wife. I couldn't see me going to some of the wonderful places we've been and not have her at my side. That's one of the great things about this, is we get to spend some really quality time together.
But with that being said, I definitely had some criteria before we started this whole adventure. And it's called the WAF, and that stands for the Wife Acceptance Factor. Number one on the wife acceptance factor was I needed to be off the ground. So, how did we solve that?
Well, we chose a rooftop tent. I think that pretty much eliminated any form of tent being on the ground. Some of the places we wanted to go to, definitely a larger vehicle, let's say larger than a sportsman mobile, or anything bigger than that, probably wouldn't make a good option for us. We just simply couldn't get through some of the narrow trails in Utah, Arizona, and so on. That would have probably pushed us in a direction we didn't really have a desire to go.
So what you're saying is the rooftop tent not only got us off the ground, but it still allowed us to be agile and mobile.
Exactly.
In our Jeep Gizmo.
Yep, that's his name.
Yeah, that's Gizmo behind us. You can see him. So that was definitely a big criteria for me, is to be up off the ground, off of the moisture, off of the bugs, get a little bit of the upper hand with the critters, the bears, especially in our neck of the woods here in Alberta.
Yep.
So that was very important to me, and we've done a good job to make that a reality. So.
Well, we've got a couple critters to worry about here. We've got a cougar. Cougars are common in this area. Black bears, brown bears, and grizzly bears are all very common in this area. There are wolf and coyotes, so it does give us an advantage. I won't say it doesn't in those environments, and we travel prepared for those as well. Mm-hmm. Especially since we travel alone most of the time, not in a group of other vehicles. We have to be more cautious and aware of our surroundings.
The other thing that was very important to me, being the wife, was bathroom issues. So, gentlemen, I know that you can, for the most part, find yourself a nice tree and take care of business.
Yep.
Even myself, I can find a nice grassy spot and take care of business, but that's not what I want to do all the time. It needs to be a little more creature comfort, sanitary. For me, these things were important. So, criteria number 2 for me, bathroom.
Yeah.
And how did we solve that?
We used a dry toilet system. It's basically the clear waste system, the one particular we use. It used a bag system that used a powder called poo powder. Very fitting, I might say. And
no pun intended.
No pun intended. And it allows us to pretty much haul all our waste out, except for, of course, the stuff I leave on the tree. But at many places in the southern United States, southwestern specifically, Utah, and many of the sort of awesome trails that they have down there, it's a requirement in many of the parks and so on. And we've carried that here. We practice that here, even though there's really no rules to that effect. I think it's important to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah.
The system works well because not only do we have a shelter to use as our washroom, it's a pop-up tent, and it's tall. It not only works as the bathroom, but we can use it as a shower tent as well. So in there we have the portable toilet, which folds down and folds up conveniently, and it's nice. Again, you're off the ground and you have better amenities to take care of business.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to do a pretty good review on those individual items going forward here, but you know, I think it's allowed my wife to feel comfortable and dignified when going to the washroom.
Yeah.
And we can pull it out of the back of Gizmo in a moment's notice.
Yes.
And you know,
Do what
20
needs to
yards
be
into the
done.
bush, and she can have all the privacy she needs, even still feel comfortable. It's important.
It allows us to be able to be flexible and free to enjoy the great outdoors, to travel,
Be responsible as
and
well.
be responsible. That's a very good point, yes.
I can't tell you, it's interesting. You're looking at us in this very narrow picture, but it's pretty saddening if you were to go 25 feet out in the bush and do a circle around us. You'd be amazed at the horrors that are out there. We try our best to clean them up, but I'll tell you, we can only carry so much garbage out. And a lot of what we see is just poor practices with you know, human waste. And you know, even a good shovel would be an acceptable alternative, but we don't see a lot of that either. It's really saddening, actually.
So why did we venture into this?
Well, I think we wanted to we liked the camping aspect. My background is I've always been after adventure.
Adventure is necessary.
It is. Thank you, Michael. That's a perfect saying. Michael of Overland Bound, I might add. It is true. And as a younger man, I'm a pretty experienced mountaineer. I spent a huge portion of my life in pursuits of alpine climbing, ice climbing, rock climbing, backcountry skiing, glacial traverses, all kinds of pretty crazy things. And you know, this is an extenuation of that for me. We like to hike, and it allows us to also not just go to some fantastic destinations, but also to hike into some great locations. So for me, that's all part of it. Good example, we were just last fall in Utah, Canyonlands National Park, and we went to Chesler Park, and we did some great hikes in those areas, base camped out of Devil's Kitchen. So you can mix all this together and see some absolutely spectacular places. Both you can see only with a capable four-wheel drive, but also on foot. Those places.
Yes, a lot of they cycle, they walk in. So many ways you can enjoy the outdoors. We've chosen to do the Jeep thing, and it is frankly extraordinary what we can actually fit in our Jeep Rubicon. Truly, it is, and you will learn more about that. So it's quite fun. It's adventurous, and it's been a great journey so far.
We've been at it, what, four full years?
Yep.
The Jeep is a 2013. We bought it new in that year and started building towards where it is today. We've been fortunate. We kind of knew what we wanted, and we've gone in a different direction with Gizmo a little bit, haven't we?
They're quite the little fruit fly thing. They must like my wine.
I am guaranteeing that's what that is.
Yes, perhaps.
So we should put it over there.
Maybe.
Or they just like you in general.
Or they just like me in general.
Yeah. Oh.
Let's not put off. Well, another thing that was very important to me was the cooking aspect. I love to cook. And in fact, I not only love to cook, I have my own food blog called Compelled to Cook. Feel free to check it out. It's a great website, great web recipes. And
what's the URL?
www.compelledtocook.com.
And we're going to put a link to that in the description.
Yes, so that is me. So with that being said, cooking is a passion of mine. And just because we're overland traveling in a Jeep Rubicon, I didn't want to sacrifice on eating well, eating reasonably healthy, and enjoying a glass or two of vino, and enjoying life. It's not always about go, 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 go. You need to stop, reflect, enjoy. Even at home, we like to sit down and enjoy a meal together. It's very important to us. So I didn't want that to change.
No.
when we were out and about. To me, it's still very important to sit down, enjoy a meal.
Exactly. Of course, and I'm spoiled to death, so let's just get that right out of the way right now. There's not many luckier men than me when it comes to that. She's a fantastic cook, and she has a lot of technical experience because her background is as of a trained chef as well as a dietary technician.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So, so there's a lot going on there, important information, and we hope it leads us almost into another area, but we hope that that's going to come through in future, the future of what we're going to talk about on this channel.
Absolutely. You'll definitely want to check back because we're going to provide some great cooking tips, grilling tips, how to pack well, food-wise, while you're out and about.
Right.
There's so much to do and so much to explore. Plenty of good food to eat, wine to drink, fires to be had. It's all good.
So, where's been your favorite place that we've been so far?
That's a tough one because we've been to some beautiful places.
Gotta pick one.
I love Canada and I love my own province of Alberta, and the foothills are stunning. The mountains are stunning, but I would have to say that Canyonlands, Utah is also absolutely gorgeous. So many places to go, so many trails that are geared towards traveling in this style. Makes it a wonderful place to go to. Nice weather, red rock. It's great. I really did love Needles, the Needles area of Canyonlands, Utah. Great places to camp in there. Rock structures that are unique. Great hiking, all very nice. Also, I would have to say Lake Powell, on the cliffs of Lake Powell. What was that called?
Alstrom's Point.
Alstrom's Point, another stunning place. Stunning. So, Utah ranks pretty high. Gets a big thumbs up for me. So, but we can't always, we don't always have the luxury of 3 weeks to travel to Utah.
Okay, let's just say it. It's 1,900 kilometers to Moab, Utah, from where we live. 1,900 and change, one way. That's a long way.
Yes.
It's about 21 hours driving.
So you need a little more time than the weekend to get away.
That's not a weekend warrior trip. I guess I should say that we targeted the general build of Gizmo for the southwestern United States specifically. So in our initial discussions about the vehicle and so on and what we were going to buy and choosing all that, we knew that one of our main areas to explore would be the southwestern United States, at least initially. You know, we have some beautiful things here too, right? We have the Rocky Mountains, Banff National Park. We've got some spectacular parks here.
Even merely, an hour and a half away from our home?
From where we are now.
We can be here,
right,
in this gorgeous spot. We are right on the creek,
yes,
nestled in the foothills.
Mm-hmm.
It's gorgeous.
You know, we can easily get above 6,000 feet here. Last weekend we were there, and it's Monday? And we were Friday. We were at above 6,600 feet in an area that we like to travel to. So I consider ourselves very fortunate to live in such a beautiful place. But in the same breath, it's always great to get away and explore other places. Thank God for I-15.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, and we do have other places I think we want to go.
Absolutely.
So where would you want to go next?
Well,
the big trip. We're talking about a trip in the fall. What would be on the table for you?
I think Death Valley would be interesting because we've never been to Death Valley.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Again, we have to watch the weather We don't want to go when it's too hot. I guess that's why I call it Death Valley, because it's definitely hot.
It's going to snow here in September, guaranteed at one point.
So we also do want to break away and have nicer weather than we may have here later in the fall. So that's important. So to me, that's on my list for one of the places. We haven't been to the Maze District of Canyonlands, sort of skirted around it, but we actually haven't gone into it. So I think that is also on our list.
I think for me, it would be, I've got several places I'd like to go. One is the Baja. That would be the epitome of what Gizmo was developed for, and I think we've worked hard to get to park time on a beach situation, and we've been successful with that. So we're ready to go spend some time on some beaches and do some different type of travel that we've never done. But like I say, whether we do this year in spring or not, or fall, I don't know that for sure.
Well, the other thing that's important to me, and I know it's important to Mark as well, is to be able to enjoy where you're going.
Yes.
So with that being said, maybe spending more than a night in a spot. We might spend a couple nights, enjoy the surrounding area, go for a walk, go for a hike, have a fire, relax, read a magazine, do things that are restful, and spend quality time together, because that's important to us. So sometimes, yes, you have to pack up and be ready to go on the trail, fairly early in the morning, so you can make some time and get to your next destination. But
day after day, that gets old.
Absolutely, and to me, that's not always enjoyable and restful and relaxing. So we do like to slow it down a little bit, and sometimes take an extra day just to enjoy where we are.
I couldn't agree more. I see, and I do watch a lot of other travelers on Utah, and I really admire them. But I sometimes look at some of the areas they go to, and I look and I go, okay, well, I'd spend an extra day there. I would just sit there and just take it in,
I will say this. I'm not much one for setting up in the middle of the night or when it's dark. So I like to find out where we're going and be nestled in where we're going by 4, 5, 6 o'clock, right? Be able to set up, have a nice supper, enjoy a glass of wine, enjoy the scenery.
Maybe have a great meal.
Absolutely.
Because I'll tell you, sitting at Alstrom Point, we had a fantastic meal with no wind at one of the most beautiful places in North America for sure.
So I couldn't imagine rolling in there at
dark and leaving at 9 in the morning.
Exactly.
It would be like,
you've missed it all.
Let's go. Yeah,
sometimes I get it. You have to go, and you have to.
Yeah, you got to make time. There's no question about it.
But there's sometimes when you just got to stop and enjoy, because that's frankly that's what it's about.
Yeah,
100%.
Well, a good example, a lot of people will know. We've done the White Rim Trail twice now, and sure, I think a couple of days we traveled the next day. Occasionally we'd stay, and if we were going to travel, we'd go to another nice spot and camp in an extra place, just to slow it down in an area where you only have so much time because of permits and everything else. So you want to maximize that. I know there's people that can do it in a day. I'm thinking, whoa.
I couldn't imagine.
We've watched people. This is crazy.
I couldn't imagine.
We were in Potato Bottom, and we were watching vehicle, at least two, that passed our campsite, and we watched them go up hard scrabble in the dark, and all we could see is the headlights going up that hill. Now, if you've been up there, you're going to go, uh-oh, it can be done. You bet it can. Could we do it? Yeah. Why?
But what
She would walk. I don't care. She would walk.
I'd be the person saying, we're stopping here and sleeping here, and I will risk the fine because I'm not going over that in the dark.
Yeah. We've had some fun experiences too. It's amazing. It's really true. You have to just get off your butt, get out there, and explore. It's that simple. do it.
Adventure. That's
Yeah,
what it's
adventure.
about.
Mhm.
Quality time together and being outdoors. Enjoying what nature has to offer
Exactly.
without sacrificing too much.
No, and I don't think you have to. I think you have to make everything comes at a price of something else, it seems. Uh, so you have to be flexible,
Adapt.
adapt. One thing is really true. As many things as you have that can have more than one purpose is a really good thing. Second, don't believe a lot of the stuff about any of the vehicles. They're all great. So we chose the Jeep for specific reasons, and we'll get into detail. I'm going to get into some real detail on that about all of them. I've owned a Toyota 4Runner before. I've owned several Toyotas, and they're all fantastic vehicles. They all are different enough that they're right for certain people and not others. What we've done, we can really say that it would be able to work across all platforms, including trailers, a lot of the things we've done. And electrical systems that we've put in, the water systems, we don't want for much there.
We don't.
We've had to,
Doesn't mean that we don't have to be mindful sometimes.
yes,
Mindful of our garbage, mindful of water,
right.
mindful of how we pack our food.
Uh-huh.
It just takes a little bit of planning and thought and consideration for where you're going and your environment.
Right. We seem to like to go to the very remote places, like Lockhart Basin was like that.
And that's partly why we do it, so we can go to places that not everybody can get to.
Yeah. We
That's what makes it fun,
right.
makes it cool, makes it adventurous.
It does
Right.
change. Yeah, it does change it up a bit, though. I guess when we have to be more self-sufficient than, let's say, you would be if you had a fleet of 4 vehicles traveling.
Well, absolutely.
We're going to carry a lot
We're
more
solo.
gear. We're solo.
We are solo, so we need to make sure we have food, water, fuel, recovery gear.
Yeah.
It's all important.
Medical firefighting capabilities.
Yes.
Yeah. The other thing
that
too.
goes back to it's extraordinary what we can actually carry in our Jeep Rubicon. I'll say it again because it amazes me all the time.
Right.
Because I can still fit in wine. So.
So true. One of the other things that really gives us some comfort, I guess, and one things that we really do use a lot is the InReach.
Ah,
Yes.
good point.
That one has been, I think, for you, comfort. Me,
Absolutely.
comfort in knowing if and when we need to communicate, we can. We're going to be doing several videos probably on that specific concept, and go into quite a bit of detail. We'll go through, hopefully in the field, so you can see it actually work in real life, how it works and what it's like to have something like that. InReach gives you basically an Iridium phone number that you can text with, and you have all the capabilities of emergency beacon. That, I think, has made a real difference in our confidence, because we can get a hold of people. Our family can get a hold of us if they need to.
It's important when
It's
you're gone
important.
for longer times to remote places where you might have vehicle troubles, you might have health issues. Again, it's comfort, it's peace of mind. What do I do? How do I get help? And that's what it's there for.
Right. Is there anything you want to talk about as far as what you might do with some of the food stuff?
So much food, so little time. I guess is all I can say.
Yeah.
I love to cook, and there's great things to be had on the grill.
Mm-hmm.
With limited cooking capabilities. So what we cook with essentially are small single burner propane hot pot burners, I guess you'd call them, and a barbecue, a grill. And those are our 2 main cooking sources. But with those 2, you can do a lot. Trust me, you can do a lot. We're going to do everything from pizza to grilled peaches, basic things like steak and hamburgers. It's great for every meal. all
Right.
meals, and well, it has to be because that's what we use.
Mhm.
So breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
You know, and we've made some changes in those areas. It's funny how you have one item and you sort of follow the trend that you see other people doing, and it's quite often that we've deviated from the norm a little bit for very specific reasons, actually.
So over the 4 years, we've adapted.
Yeah.
And later on, you'll find out why we adapted.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think we've covered some of the basics as
Yeah.
to who we are and why we are doing what we're doing.
Yep. I don't think I have anything else to say.
I don't think so. Not for this evening, anyways.
We're getting
Now-
smoked out
now
right
that
about
the
now.
smoke has changed, I think the fire might be just about right to maybe roast a hot dog.
Yep.
Actually. So I think maybe now's a good time to say good evening and thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our channel.
Yep. Like the video, hopefully, if you do.
Yep.
And come back for more, because this is one of our first videos, as you'll find out. You may be the first. But before we get smoked
I think
out,
we're getting smoked out, so I think it's time to say goodnight, and we hope to see everybody soon, and
thanks for watching.
thank you.